In this video, I'm going to run through from making a booking in MagManager to creating your final PDF ready to send to your printer. So the first step is to locate the client. So I'm going to click on Clients in the navigation bar. And I know this guy is a prospect, so I'm going to click on the Prospects tab. And you can see them here, Bath Store. So if I just click on the company name, that opens up the client record and I can click on Bookings. They're going to book in for the Village Voice for February, so I just click in the space to book and click on Complete Booking. The advert is for a full page, so I'll click on New Advert and select Full Page from the drop down menu. And then I just want to drag that advert down onto the booking line. Confirm the price is okay. And then I want to send an email to the client to confirm their booking. So I click Save and Email, and that brings up the booking confirmation. You can override the email address if you need to. You can edit any of the text, add any extra information here, and click Send Email, and that will send the booking confirmation directly to the client. The next step is to invoice the client. So I'm going to click on the Financial tab and click on Create Invoice. There's just the one invoice waiting to be created, so if I select that by clicking in the checkbox and then click on the green button, Create an Invoice for one booking. I just need to confirm the date and then click on Create Invoice. It'll take a few minutes and then the invoice will be created, and it takes us automatically to the Invoices tab. If you click on the magnifying glass, it will expand the invoice details, and from here you can click on the email invoice, or you can choose to print the invoice. In this example, we're going to email the invoice by clicking on Email Invoice. It brings up a preview email of the email that you're going to send to the client. So it has a summary of the booking and invoice details, and it will also attach a printable PDF version of the invoice to the email as well. So you simply click Send Email, and that will send the email with the invoice directly to the client. The next step is to upload the client artwork. So I'm going to click on the Artwork tab, and then from here click on the pink area and then click on Upload Artwork. Locate the artwork file on your computer and click Open. It'll take a minute or two to upload the artwork into MagManager. Once it's done this, it will run a check for any RGB space. Generally this will come up if there is images used in the advert, which is the case on this one, and obviously you just need to be aware of that. I'm going to close that for now, and I'm going to update this artwork status to customer artwork approved, and then click Save. So the next step is to place the booking onto the Flatplan. So I'm going to click back on Bookings and click on the magnifying glass to the right hand side here, and that takes you directly to the Flatplan for that issue. So we're in the Village Voice for February 21, and we can see the Bath Store booking over here on the left hand side under the full page. So I can expand that full page listing and it shows on the left hand side here. If you want to display the artwork, if you toggle the switch Show Artwork, the uploaded artwork will display on your Flatplan. So I'm going to just drag this advert over and place it onto page 2. And then if I hover over the number, and when it shows layout, if I click there, it brings up the layout screen. If I click Preview with Trim, it'll take a minute or two and it'll bring up a preview of how the final PDF will look. The green box around the edge is actually the trim box, and that shows you where the pages will be cut. Now this advert looks fine. Normally I would think an advert like this would be quite good to be lead off the page, but in this case you can see that the text is too close to the edge of the advert, so in this case it's not possible to set it to bleed, and we're quite happy with that. So we're going to go back to the Flatplan, and I'm just going to run through the layout screen with you. So it automatically picks up the default layout that you have set up for your magazine. In this case we're using is 16 grid, and it'll automatically bring through your default margins and spacing. And auto bleed is where you can choose if you want the advert to bleed off the page. MagManager can automatically do that for you. You can switch that on and off, and MagManager will automatically allow a 10% tolerance on the advert sizes. If it's above 10%, it won't display correctly, and you'll get an error message, and you can manually increase that tolerance above 10% if you're happy with that. The next boxes are to set master pages if you're going to use them, and then the show footer. So you can switch the footer details on and off by clicking on the toggle switch. Your default footer settings will automatically display, and you can override this on an individual page basis. So for example, if this advert was bleeding off the page, the chances are we wouldn't want the footer to display, so we could switch that off. Again, you can update the footer left page and right page text on a page level. It'll automatically bring through your default settings, but you can update these. And finally, once you're happy with the advert and how it looks on the page, you can click Layout Complete and then click Save. Once you do that, it automatically places a gold border around the advert, and the little tick will appear on the left hand side there. You can also mark pages as complete by simply clicking on the X directly from the Flatplan, and that also marks it as complete. The process of marking the pages as complete is what starts the process of the digital flipbook being created. So as soon as you click there to mark as complete, so by clicking on the X you mark each page as complete, MagManager is starting to create your digital flipbook. The process I use is when I've uploaded the final piece of artwork to a page, I click on the layout screen and then click preview with trim. It'll take a little minute and the PDF view will show up. And obviously you can check that the trim box is where it should be and you're happy with the layout. And if I'm happy with everything, I then close that window and go back to the Flatplan, and at that point I mark the page as complete and save. And obviously you can see the gold border around that. The next step is to add some content onto page 13. So I'm looking for a full page, so I'm going to expand the full page section on the left hand side there, and I'm going to add some MagManager content. So I'm going to just drag over the space onto page 13, and that will automatically bring up the search options for the MagManager content for a full page. So I'm looking for a pancake recipe. So I'm going to type in pancake and click search, and the recipe I want to use is this first one here, so I just click there. It'll open up the information about the advert, and I can click place on Flatplan. I'm going to change the artwork status to artwork approved. I don't want to include it in the index, so I'll turn that off, and the artwork is set up perfectly for using in MagManager, so I can leave these other settings as they are and then click on save, and that automatically places the artwork onto page 13. So I'm just going to check that the layout looks okay. So I'm hovering over the 13, I'm clicking there and clicking preview with trim. That's fine. You can see the green trim box line and it's automatically bleeding off the page, so I'm quite happy with that. So I can close this window and return to the flat plan. You can see here that it's automatically set to auto bleed, and I'm going to mark the page as complete and click save. The next step is to create the advertiser index. Depending how you access the flat plan, you may be able to click back and that will take you to the flat plan overview screen. If it takes you back to the client page, then you may need to click on either the home page or publications, and from there select the publication that you're working on. So in this case, Village Voice February 21, and that will take you to the flat plan overview. From here, select Advertiser Index, and that brings up the setting pages. So you can choose whether your listing will be based on sections or categories, and you can switch one of these on to suit. You can choose the number of columns in your index. The top margin may need to be adjusted depending on the index template that you're using, and then you've got the font sizes and things here. You can choose to break on specific headings of your choice. In this case, we've got food and drink selected, and you can switch that on, and then you can also edit. So we're going to have a little bit of space above each heading. You can also choose spacing below the heading and the colour. The next section actually is the font sizes and the text used for the client listings. So the first thing to do is we need to select the page that the index is going to appear on. So we click here and then select the page. So we're going to go on page 22, and that's the index added. You will find that you may need to play around with the settings on here till you get the setting that works for you. But once you have them set, if you click on Generate PDF, it'll take a minute or two, and then a PDF version of the index will appear. Now we don't have many adverts in this one, so there is a bit of space here, but other than that we're quite happy with the settings that are showing up. So I can just close that page down and go back to the invoice settings. And you can make any tweaks to the settings once you've viewed it. If you wanted to, for example, maybe increase the spacing above the headings, we can change that to 15, and it's simply a case of clicking Generate PDF a second time. And then you can see it's added a bit extra space in between the last line of one heading and the start of another. So I'm quite happy with that now. So I'll just close that window and go back, and we can go back to View Flatplan. I'm going to switch on Show Artwork, and I'm going to manually mark each page as complete. So I've marked all the pages as complete now. You can see the gold border around each page, and I'm going to click on Back and click on Flat Plan Overview, and then click on AutoPublish Options. And then from here we're selecting AutoPublish. This is a button to create a print ready PDF ready to send to your printer. We can leave the pages blank, and that way it selects all pages of the magazine, and we click on Create. It'll just take a few minutes while the Ninja does its thing. So it'll flash up briefly that the file has created, and then you have the option to save the file to your computer, which it'll download for you. And then you can open up the PDF file. And then you can just obviously go through the file just to check that everything looks to be in order. If you're happy with the file, then it's ready to upload to your printer, or if you use Stevens and George, it can be uploaded directly to the AutoPublish portal. The next step is to look at the digital Flipbook. So I'll close this window and go back to MagManager. And to view the Flipbook, you click on the preview button, and that will bring up the digital Flipbook of your magazine. So you can just click on the little arrow and you can flick through the pages of the Flipbook. If you want to share the link to the Flipbook with your advertisers or users or post it on social media, it's simply a case of copying the URL in the address bar and you can share that link to the publication. You can also embed the digital Flipbook into your website. So if I close this window and go back to MagManager, and from the AutoPublish options again, if you click on Get Digital Link, this brings up the code, which you can simply copy and paste the whole code and place it onto your website. The only things you may want to update are the height and the width pixel sizes. At the moment they're set as 100 each. You can increase them or decrease them to suit the size that you want the image to display on your website. So I'm just going to close that down. And that's a run through of MagManager for you.